I'd just like to offer you today a reflection on the Gospel readings for this Sunday. The reading was Jesus healing the blind man and bringing him back to sight from John chapter 9. I was reflecting on this Gospel passage, why this blind man? This man couldn't see, he didn't know Christ, and he was considered by everyone around him as a sinner. He himself probably considered himself a sinner as well. So why did Jesus heal him? From his blindness, this man was seen by God, and then he was moved by the action of God's grace and became, through that, a witness to the action of God. He moved from darkness to light. Back in the 14th century, Master Eckhart, a great spiritual writer who followed Aquinas, taught that he who sees nothing, he who is blind, can see only God. In his healing, this man who was blind woke up from his sleep, as St. Paul says, rose from his death, and Christ shone in him. From his blindness, this man saw Christ and was transformed so much that all those around him couldn't help but ask what had happened and how he'd been healed. I believe that Christ offers the same for you and for me. And so I ask, why this blind man? Often I cannot see. Often I cannot recognise Christ in my life and around me. I could rightly be condemned as a sinner, and I often consider myself as a sinner. So why does Jesus heal me? On reflection, if I learn from this blind man in today's Gospel, perhaps it is just this blindness that is an opportunity for me to see my salvation. Because, as Eckhart teaches, when the soul is blind, she sees nothing, she sees only God. And this must be so because God is the deepest identity of the created soul. So why us blind people? Often we cannot see, often we do not know Christ. People around us see us as sinners, and we ourselves see ourselves as sinners. Why does Jesus heal us? Why us blind people? Because Christ sees the light that we mask in our blindness. Christ knows us and knows our worth, even when we do not know it ourselves. Christ knows the truth of our beautiful creation, which we hide behind sin. And Christ recognises our deepest identity in him and not our failings. Jesus sees and heals us. He sees the healed us, to which we are blind. So we can take this time in Lent to rejoice that Christ sees us not as blind sinners, but as the wonders of creation he made us to be. And so we follow the command of Paul to wake from sleep, rise from the dead, and shine the light of Christ. That we might not hide in darkness, but see only God, and that we might not be discouraged by darkness in others, but see only the truth that Christ sees in them. So help us, God.